Afternoon, everyone, or good morning, or good evening. I hope you're having a sensational Saturday, and I hope you're well, and I hope your day is turning out to be a good day. And if it's not, I hope that you manage and get through because there's always dark days. But I hope that's not the case. But if it is, I send you all good energy and light and blessings. Uh, today, on today's edition of Creative Talent Productions, I'm going to read a short little story that's included in my book. Uh, the book that I have, well, the book that I have written. This is Two Kids from the Bronx. It all began back in June 1977. I was going out with Tommy Ruggiero, my son's father, who I ended up marrying at the dumb, naive age of 18. That's a whole nother story. That was to reenact a life that I wanted and a life that I learned how to develop in my line of thinking as the way it's supposed to be. Um, you know, but, well, oh, I diverted. That wasn't included. I'm just adding that. Okay, where else? Okay, where was I? Okay, da-da-da-da. Back then, I thought I was going to live the American dream. Buy a house with a white picket fence, 3 kids, a dog, a cat, and 2 turtles. Instead of the reality of both of being way too young and stupid, clueless as to what was required of marriage, well, I was always more mature. Anyway, that was a bomb. But out of the bomb came my son, my beautiful, handsome son, who's now way old. I wrote this back in 2004, so obviously there have been modifications made to the story. Um, that's just one. I'm only going to read just short little excerpts. I'll have to keep people tuned. Stay tuned, stay tuned. Now, this is another story from my book. This is another story. Mentally bulletproof. If you aren't, you're screwed because life isn't kind or easy breezy for no one. When you experience a great deal of stress, you either lose your mind or you learn how to cope, knowing that everything in life is not in your control. When situations occur involving other people, you just have to learn how to cope and deal and live and keep your shit together. Because if you don't, no one else is going to do it for you. This is just a part of it. This is a poem that I have written that's in my book. Ego. Put your ego in park. Sit down. Don't bark. Listen. This was during the pandemic. Yes, I'm the turtle. I'm a little behind on things. I'm behind on the curve. But always catching up. Scar stories. Seldom go through life without scars. A scar can be as simple as a scrape on your knee or a blank wound. Sad words I cannot say. Excuse me, I need some hydration. For me, my coping skills have become vital for my sanity. That's why it's important to become a duck and let the water roll off your ass. Let the life's problems roll off your ass. That's why it's important to enjoy simple things in life because if you can't, it'll increase your stress level, raising your cortisol. Increase levels of cortisol. Cortisol. Increased levels have been associated with heart attacks, diabetes, strokes, loss of consciousness, etc. Take a deep breath and inhale the good every day. Then exhale the negativity and send it on its way. Namaste. That's the entire poem. Here we go. More poems in my book. Shit end. I got the shit end of the stick. This I must admit. But what I do know is this. I'll turn it around and flip it. That's extra, I added that. We ain't in control, so just let it go. Flush it down, let it be on its way. I just added that. Hurt and pain is all in the game of living and breathing, accept each day as it comes. That's written. So your mind and soul don't come undone. Or trying to figure out life because it's really a lot of fun. It's all how you look at stuff. It's all how you think. I mean, well, because of I say it's my ancestors. I say it's my ancestral guardians. I say that it's a lot of, that I have a great deal of guardians around me on a spiritual level, and also being cognizant and aware and just kind of knowing how basically full of poop situations are, people are, you know? It's just, you just learn it, you know what I mean? You just learn it. So let me read some more. This is the rough draft of my poetry. Journey. Life is a journey for sure, this is my poem, that many cannot endure, causing many lives to implode due to no fault of their own. Paths cross and we get lost with life events that can be so cold. Keep your head high and you will survive whatever hills and mountains you'll have to climb. I have a great photograph behind that too. Oh, I got a tag sticking out of my shirt. Oh my God, excuse me. Excuse me, it was a tag. Oh, and you know what gets me? What's this card doing turning around? Who the frick are you? The nylon thread that they use inside the seams. Oh my God. All right, let me forget that. Wheels of Justice. The wheels of justice are rusted for black, brown, and poor amongst us. The gates get locked while others walk. Time is long overdue to change laws that only suit the privileged few, leaving families broken with prison for profit, cashing in on crimes that otherwise get dismissed with a pat on the wrist. DAT, anybody? Desk appearance ticket. That's the difference in your melon. See, when you got melon, you're gonna more or less get a little bit of you're gonna get a little ornaments on your wrists or on your ankles, you know, and then you like collateral. You become collateral because that's what our society is built upon. If you look at history, people, and if you see the correlation of how the emperors ruled, how the emperors had their castles, and they had their dowry of land, and they had their businesses, and they were the providers of the food and all of the agriculture and the produce, etc., 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 and then the people grovel. Well, basically, ain't shit changed, you understand? The difference is that they've become more wealthy, and we stay at the same level. And there are bits and moments in time that people will be able to grasp depending on, you know, their economic background, you know. So for the people who are of wealth and substance, you don't relate to the regular working people on a monetary level. Maybe you do, you know, but it's So basically, it's not much has changed. Not much has changed. So we, the people, have to unite and stop giving our money. You know, stop giving our money to these places that don't give. You know, that aren't going to be beneficial to society overall. You know, that's why if you read any of the financial um, periodicals, you'll know that there has been an awful lot going on as far as closures, bankruptcies, Chapter 11, Chapter 13, etc., etc., etc. You know? Stop giving them money. Stop giving them freaking money. Stop spending your money in places that don't give back. You know, and Mr. and Mrs. Wally Walmart, the Walton family, do your delivery. Do your yearly delivery. Make it for seniors. Make it a flat fee, and then like how you have all your corporate stuff, and how you have all your commerce. But now, see, everything now is really, really quite an edge. We're basically walking on financial eggshells, everybody. The world is right now. Let me get back to my book, my poetry. Societal eugenics. Societal eugenics, polarized pandemic, less waste, more order. Pandemic crossed ocean borders, created global disorder. It's still here, hasn't turned the corner. It's coming. Well, there's a lot. Look, we have Legionnaire's disease that happened in Harlem. We have a bunch of stuff that's happening. Chemtrails, uh, you know, yeah, more poetry. Plant-based, save the race, less is more in order to endure. Lean protein is the dream, reduce waste, save space. Buy less, hit the reset, no regrets. Yeah, so plastic should be banned. Plastic should be banned. All produce, all perishable items that are in plastic should be made in the vacuum packs because they're less, and the only plastic basically is going to be the lid. Well, it's going to be lined with the plastic. It has to be lined with the polymer. Hopefully a polymer that's not a carcinogen polymer, because all these things that we consume, people wonder why. Okay. Why does the United States have the highest, C rate? I don't know if I can say the word cancer. Why do we have the highest rate? Well, gee, let's say. Could it be the foods? Could it be the containers that food has been stored in? Could it be the food color additives? Do you think of that? You think of that? Could it also be the grain that the herds consume that could have bad grain because of what has grown from the ground? Do you make the connection? Do people make the connection? It's all connected. Also, too, okay, for women with our grooming and so forth, there's so many things, natural products that you can make on your own by using natural oils, that you don't have to go and spend all kinds of money and have all these polymers added. Do you know how much? All right, I don't want to sound really morbid, but I'm gonna touch on something on a morbid topic, but just not really delve into it. Okay. After when we are no longer breathing, when we are unalived, the amount of microplastics that our bodies contain, which has been proven, and they've showed it on a procedure that's done after someone passes, providing that the family allows it. It starts with the letter A and it ends with the letter Y. I don't want to say certain words. Okay. Yeah, so there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff that, and also too, now with ailments that we have, right, that are part of our society, the medicines that we take, the compounds that are in those medicines, all right? So now I have been taking, because I was never diagnosed properly with my Hashimoto's, hypothyroid, right? They were giving me an antidepressant. It wasn't that. It was because of the thyroid and the parathyroid. Okay, long story short with that, this medicine that I take for the thyroid causes bone loss and what bones are throughout the body, teeth, you know, so you get bone loss naturally as you age. So there's a lot of stuff, people. There's a lot of stuff, you know. And I would just say, you know, really be cautious with your diet. If you have a bad diet, modify it. If you're, you know, you're in the grip of addiction, try to make an effort to get out of that grip. You know, a lot of people, life will make you very, very melancholy and very, very upset, and people fill the void, and they fill the void with rugs, with spirits. I don't know what if I could say. um, Trex addicts, shopping addicts, you know, food. There's a lot of stuff, you know, a lot of voids that we have. We all have, you know. And but now, here's the thing: AI. They'll sing that song. I bet you they'll make it. Are you lonesome tonight? You can have your AI companion. Hi, honey. What's for dinner? I'll have some. I'll have some poached halibut, and I have made some fresh string beans, and I have tomatoes. Just lemons. I just want lemons too. Thank you. Anyway, I was reading my book. Let me get back to my book. I diverted. I'm sorry. It's ADD. And I just posted a video of the wonderful incident that occurred with the New York City Board of Ed. Wasn't that something? These people are really quite amazing. They're really something. I've got 30 views on that. Mm-hmm. All right. Yeah. Nice one. Nice. Real good. Real good. Another round of applause. Thank you. Round of applause. Let's get a bow. Let's get a round of applause for that. Yep. Yep. Okay, let's see. I was reading. I was writing something. I'm just going to read one little short sentence here. Oh wait, I gotta read this. I don't know where this chick got her degree from, but she needs serious reinstruction. That's what I talked about when I was in a very bad state after September 11th, how I called up a therapist. I could laugh about it now, but during that time, yeah, that happened back in February. Anyway. Okay, there's a lot in here. I'm not gonna talk about that. But anyway, I hope I brought some humor. I hope I brought some humor. Okay, let's see. Oh, there's another story. My MTA story, or my MetroCard story. This was a story that I wrote down, but I don't have it in front of me. It was uh, 149, the 149 hustle. Growing up in the Bronx, going into Manhattan, I used to do temp work. And so with the subways, the game is to always keep moving, keep moving, keep moving. Because if something happens on one incident can happen and it'll screw up the whole line, residual delays. Okay, so I lived near the 2 and the 5. The 2 and the 5 would run on White Plains Road, starting from East 241st Street all the way down to the 5 would go all the way down, and then the 2 would go into Brooklyn. Anyway, in the morning, the 2 and the 5 were express. So if you got on the train, anyway, if you missed that express train that took you from after you get to 180th Street, it would go straight to 149th Street. So the thing was always if you were on a 2 train, you had to wait for the 5, which was on the same track, the same level, or you'd run upstairs to catch the 4. So that's the 149 shuffle. Anybody who grew up in the Bronx knows, and if you had a transfer. So yeah, that would be like, I would stand at the front of the staircase, and then you'd hear the train, but then you didn't know if it was coming like south or north, and then you run upstairs. That's when I was just like I was a lightweight back then. I was a lot lighter. Not that I'm huge now, but I'm bulkier. Run upstairs, catch, and if it was the 4 going downtown, then it was good. Or then it would be a 4 uptown, and then you'd miss the train, the 5 that pulled in. It was just, you had to be there to see it. Unless you grew up in New York City, you wouldn't know what I'm talking about. You'd be like, what? It's like any metro line. It was like when my husband and I, when we went to London and Paris. It was, I had this is an ailment story. Well, I had bunions, and I still got that bunion. Anyway, the second time I had the bunion removed, I just called that car. Okay, one time. You go again? This person. I had the bunion removed in, it was like early October, because my 50th birthday was coming up. So I kept talking to my husband. I said, yeah, let's go to Europe. Let's go to the UK. And then from the UK, we'll go to Paris. And he was like, okay, yeah. And then time was moving. So me being the planner, I'm looking at the flights, and it was like right before, it was November. It was right before the holiday started, and I said to my husband, well, I'm booking flights for us. We going? He was dragging his feet. I'm like, well, you're not going, I'm going. You could drop me off at the airport. I'll send you a postcard. He was like, okay. Anyway, we go to London, and backtrack. I spoke about the bunion, the second surgery. My foot was killing me. I'm hobbling around to see the Brooklyn Bridge, and I'm hopping around. Anyway, it was a story. It was a subway story. But the UK tube, yeah, it was very impressive. It was very impressive. The tube in Paris, pretty smelly. It was, yeah, it made New York City smell like a garden of roses. The rail in Amsterdam, that was clean. That was the rail we were on, you know. But anyway, it was a real story. Anyway, that's enough of that. That's diverted. But anyway, everybody, I'll be back with more stories, and I hope you all have a great day, and I hope you have a good weekend, holiday weekend. Yeah. holiday weekend, and I am just, well, trying to get through with the high blood pressure here, and it's no fun. Because, well, whole lot going on with that, which I did not know. Which makes sense now because I kept feeling not well. And I just thought it was the thyroid, because the thyroid is like command central. The thyroid controls like so much of the body. Be amazed. It's just unbelievable. I don't know how I survived. I survived. Because that's all you can do, people. That's all you can do. Oh, let me go back to my story now. I said I was going to get off, but I'm going to continue. This is from Scar Stories. Being a tomboy type of girl, I was never into frilly dresses and Barbie dolls. I loved G.I. Joe and trucks and played with my brother and his friends. I also did gymnastics and used to jump from roof to roof, giving my mother many, many coronary attacks. God bless my mother. She survived me. I added that. No, motherhood is a job that is a thankless job. Hopefully your kids they grow up and they reciprocate. Okay, let me get back to my story. With that being said, it made me who I am today. Once my mom was discharged from rehabilitative therapy, life as I knew it was very different. She was unable to do things with us like she used to do before the brain tumor removal surgery. Yeah. So my mother opted for the surgery not to have us be like to go into like foster care. You know that? Yeah. So yeah, that could seem like very emo. Oh, wow. Okay, let me see now. Let me pull it back together. Okay, following her surgery, it disfigured her face, pulling the left side up, and because a brain tumor sat on her fifth trigeminal nerve. When these rotten kids and parents would stare and say mean things about her, I'd tell them to go. What are you looking at? Ah! I had no problem expressing myself. That's territorial, man. That's mom. Same thing a mom would do with her children. No. Like you have for my kids, you have for me, and we're gonna have a problem. You understand? Yes, I was a potty mouth. But it's because it was the language I heard around the house sometimes. I told you, they said, I learned Italian bad words. Avan and a ghoul. Oh, my one aunt, she would bite her hand, like when she would get upset. Aunt Zora. And then my stepfather, he said she got 20 to 40, and I was like, what? He's like, yeah, she got a life sentence. I was like, because she never left the house, because she had anxiety. Probably she had anxiety. She never left the house, yeah. She was what they call like a real mamadelle. All right, everybody. I hope my little afternoon edition of my short read has entertained some people. Oh, this is something I'm going to read. This is for any woman who's in the DV. This is what my son wrote. A small boy watches from across the hall into another room where the screams come from. He watches a woman cry in pain, and the woman he knows is mommy. The attacker is a man he was taught to call daddy, because we used to. That's because, well, when you grow up in a that kind of environment, which I'm not going to disparage my mother, but there was, well, four kids, and then the story goes that because of me, my Italian uncles from New Jersey, they told my mother, they said, "You're happy now with your blank baby, or your blank." They wanted nothing to do with her, and she was pregs with me. So that's what happened. So maybe that and some other things that happened, you know, and then, well, my mother would say I was mulatto, and I never knew what that was, and then I found out later. But anyway, here I am, surviving and carrying on. Have a good one, everybody. Stay safe, stay well, stay hydrated, and do the right thing by people. And for any woman who's in the DV, what affects you affects your kids, you know? So, uh, anyway, have a good one. Have a good weekend. Stay safe. Please don't drink and drive. If you want to whoop it up and tear it up and act reckless, and you know you got that need, that burning desire to poison your body with spirits, you know, and maybe end up with some ornaments on your wrist or on your ankle, feel free. If you want to be smart, if you want to be a conscientious person, what you do affects everybody else around you. Later. Have a good one.